Hey guys, Logan at Enduro Engineering. This time I'm going to show you how to install a rear brake disc guard on the Honda models. First step you're going to want to do is remove the plastic guard here over the caliper. You just got both bolts here on top and bottom that are 8mm. That way, once you have it removed, you can press on the caliper here to press the piston in, free up the brake pads. It's going to be a lot easier getting your wheel back in. And then take a 32mm and remove the axle nut. Okay, so now we can take the axle out and remove the rear wheel. Okay, now that you got the rear wheel off, you're going to want to remove your brake pads. So you can take an 8mm, pull out the brake pad pin, and then you can slide the whole caliper carrier off of the swing arm, and then just press on the caliper and pull off the carrier. Okay, there's a few things we got to transfer over from the stock carrier over to the Enduro Engineering one. First is going to be the rubber boot. Just pull that off and then press it into the Enduro Engineering one. Just give it a spin, that way you know that it seats down into the groove there. There we go. Then you're going to need to transfer the brake pad stop pad over. And then lastly, you need the slide pin for the caliper. On this one it's a 12mm, so just take a 12mm wrench, loosen that up. Okay, then we're going to transfer the pin over to the Enduro Engineering one. And then tighten that down as well. Alright, so now we take the Enduro Engineering rear disc guard here with the carrier. Just line up the pins just like on the stock one through the rubber boots. You got both the front pin and the rear pin. Slide those on. And then you can reinstall it into the swing arm. There you go, make sure you get it in the groove. And then we're going to reinstall the brake pads. Take the brake pad pin, thread that back through, and then an 8mm and tighten that up. Then just separate your brake pads there so you can get that rotor through. And then we're going to put the rear tire back on. Okay, so just take the rear tire, get the rotor lined up inside the caliper. Make sure you're not knocking out your wheel spacers. Okay, and then stick the axle back through. Okay, I get that on finger tight, and then what I like to do to make sure that we get the axle blocks up against the adjusters here, you can see there's a little bit of a gap. So what I like to do is I got a T-handle here handy, take a screwdriver, whatever you'd like, run it into the sprocket, and then run it backwards. That's going to pull the axle blocks tight up against the adjuster, and then we can tighten the axle. Then you can reinstall the cover here on the caliper, the OEM plastic cover. It'll mount right up, use the same hardware. And tighten those back down with that 8mm. Alright, so that's how you install the rear disc guard on these Honda 250 and 450 models. One last tip I would do is pump up the rear brake. That way you're not going to blow that first corner on your next ride. If you have any questions on the installation, give us a call at 517-393-2421 or visit EnduroENG.com.